Welcome to today's session, What You Need to Know About Reworking Your Accounting System and Fixing Historical Problems, in QuickBooks, of course. This is part 2, and last time we looked at ways to bring your chart of accounts up to speed. And today we're going to be spending our time looking at the following things. Preliminary steps. I want to remind you that for the whole process of fixing up your structure and your historical information, the preliminary step should always be to do a backup first. That makes it so that when you make those changes, if something doesn't turn out quite the way you thought it would, you can always go back in and restore your file. The next thing we're going to be working with today is the item list. The majority of our time is going to be focused on the item list and how to clean up those problems in the list that you might encounter. I'm also going to do some overview and insights about some common errors that you may see on the payroll items list that could be causing some problems. The session today is not a focus on payroll, so I just wanted to let you know that those problems do exist. And then we'll spend a little bit of time on the final lineup, how to bring your books into agreement with your tax preparer and back to current reality. After you've done as much cleanup as you can, then we'll go back over to your tax preparer's final results and bring your books into agreement so that you stay synchronized. I'm going to move over into the PDF. These PDF handouts seem to work well for people because it gives you a checklist to work with. So rather than putting all these details into PowerPoint slides, which aren't nearly as easy to use on a day-to-day basis, we're going to use this handout. So let's take a look at that item list and some of the common problems. Sometimes we see people just barely using those items, so they're not getting the benefits from the system. For instance, if you're not using items properly, you're probably not tracking detailed job costs and you're losing out on the benefits of the information that you can get from job costing. You can't use accounts in the forms for estimates or purchase orders or invoices. They actually require you to use items. So if you don't have your items set up properly, your estimates and purchase orders probably are not being properly utilized. And if you're not using estimates and purchase orders, you're probably not able to see some of the detailed results that you need to review and monitor in order to keep your jobs and job costs under control. Another result is that if your service items aren't set up properly, you're not tracking time and payroll costs and the related potential income as closely as you probably could. So we want to see those service items and have employees filling out their timesheets, because this is going to be one of the ways you can help to monitor how employees are spending your money. You want to remember that once that money goes out the door for employees, it's gone. So you want to keep close track of where and how they're spending their time. Getting those service items set up properly at the detail level that helps you understand what's going on is going to be very helpful. And some of the ways that we can use those service items for time tracking are, first of all, obviously, for the job costing information. When you record their time in QuickBooks and the timesheets include what job and job stage they're working on, you can actually create postings and job cost your payroll based on what's been entered into the employee's timesheets. It comes over automatically as part of the payroll process. Also, for control purposes, if you get their time and it's been entered into the QuickBooks timesheets, you can actually run estimated hours versus actual hours on one type of time-based report. Then you can also create reports that show estimated versus actual compensation dollars by job stage. If you do any time and materials or change order invoicing, another benefit that could be helpful is that if you get those items set up properly in the background, after the time has been recorded, you can access that information to make your invoicing easier. There's a time and cost button on the invoice that'll let you actually see all the time that's been charged to a job. You can select that button and then choose to add any of the times displayed in the list into an invoice. And there's also a notes field on the timesheets where people can actually memo exactly what they were doing. And in certain cases, that can provide useful management information about exactly what they were doing, and those notes can actually be copied right into your invoice if you want, so that eliminates duplicate data entry time. Another benefit is that if you get those service items set up properly, you can make workers' comp audits a breeze and save on workers' comp premiums.